seemed like it was just a few days ago on the Rod Pedersen Show.
Todd Pinkney, one of our P1s who came to our Seattle Kraken expansion draft watch party the other night, asks if Monty the Squirrel's going to use the Lawnmower 4.0 to trim his nuts. I was thinking more, how about that? But
How about that?
it's not an unreasonable question.
No, it is not.
Monty the Squirrel. Can we get that done up by the end of the show? And I'm in favor of your mom sewing the costume this time.
You are?
Yes.
Are you watching?
Paula?
She's probably watching.
What's going on back here? They're all laughing back there.
Because then you paused. And I was like, this in favor of her? What?
I know. I heard them bust out laughing. I'm like, what are you?
And then you sewing the costume, and it's like, just disarmed me. I'm like, okay, we're good. She can sew the costume.
I'm in favor of your mom.
What? Say it. Say it.
Stay tuned, sit back, enjoy. Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show. Right now.
Yeah, Rod's not here, so I'm hosting the show.
How about that?
All right, we are in. It is the Rod Pedersen Show, and today, one final day of the Darrin DuPont Show before we officially are in Christmas. Because for me, it always starts on December 24th and Christmas Eve, and we say good morning to those in Western Canada, good afternoon if you're out east, and hello, welcome to the Rod Pedersen Show. Yeah, Rod's on the Christmas vacation already, so we're in today and going to have some fun over the next 2 hours here on Game Plus TV. And if you're watching on the YouTube live feed, or you're listening on the podcast, or listening at rodpedersen.com with the Listen Live, we are set and ready to go today. We're going to get into some CFL topics. We're going to get into the NHL a little bit today as well. Fun stuff there. We're going to get to the NFL. That's going to be a lot of fun as we get set for the Thursday nighter tonight, Tennessee and San Francisco. There's bowl games going on. UCF's got the Florida Gators today in the late game. I believe University of Miami, Ohio's in the other bowl game today. So that will be a lot of fun. Guests today on the show. Darrin Bauming is going to be in just a few minutes here from Bonfire Sports and from Winnipeg. He's going to join us throughout the portion. We had Justin Duncan yesterday, who coincidentally was not the rock star of the day yesterday for Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions. We'll get to that in a second. It was actually one of you that was the rock star of the day yesterday, so hang on to this. But Dunk was in yesterday, and thanks to him, but Darrin Bauming will be around today. Coming up later on in the program, Jim Mullin, the president of Football Canada, will be along. It'll be fun to catch up with Jim. I watched the Vanier Cup, actually, at Jim's place in Vancouver, just off the island. So I'll have Jim coming up, and then Brendan Batchelor, the voice of the Vancouver Canucks. Maybe the NHL's most interesting story heading into the Christmas break is the Vancouver Canucks, winners of 6 in a row, 8 of their last 10. And the Vancouver Canucks trying to find themselves back into the playoff picture. Will they be able to? Are they a playoff team? We'll find out coming up with Brendan Batchelor in hour 2. Okay, Rockstar of the Day from yesterday was Free Oleg. I don't know if, Clark, if you were following the comments yesterday, but just like killing it with hilarious comments on YouTube yesterday. And the other viewers noticed. And so it was pretty funny. In the comments section from Free Oleg. So I don't know if this is the first time a viewer has been a rock star of the day, but the comments were good enough for me. So get your comments in on YouTube. We'll get to them coming up here, and we'll say good morning, Merry Christmas to everybody. We'll get to the YouTube chat here. I'll pull that up, and we'll also get to the text line at 902-518-3033. But let's bring in Darrin Bauming, who's standing by in his beautiful home studio in Winnipeg. Good morning, Darrin.
How you doing, Darrin? Is it like the Dupes show? It's Darrin DuPont. It's almost like duplex doubles of Darrin here, but
I know.
we know you got the better
Cube,
spelling.
DuPont Cube. Darrin
How about
Cube.
that?
Yeah, well, sure. I got the real spelling. I'm not too picky on that, but anyways,
I got
good to have you,
I got
man.
the Darrin. I got the Darrin Shannon spelling for those Jets 1.0
Yes.
fans out there. Double R-I.
Okay.
You got the Darrin Poopa. That was my favorite Darrin in the
Yes.
NHL back in the day, the Buffalo Sabres goaltender.
That's unreal. Well, there was 3 Darrins on my dad's side of the family. Well, there is. And every year at Grandma's,
Wow.
when she was still around, we all would go over there for Christmas. And the gifts would have to say Darrin O, Darrin D. And there was 2 Darrin Ds, obviously, but one was an I in like yours. So that was easy to differentiate. But you never knew when Grandma was calling for Darrin who she was looking for. There was 3 of us. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, well, I imagine TSN's like that too. Darren Dreger, Darren Detishin, and then you got Darren Millard over on the other side. But some of those guys used to work together in the prairies back in the day, junior hockey and regional television. So I imagine it was similar at those wild 1990s holiday parties of the media. I can't even imagine.
I can't imagine. Look, I'm at the Wynyard Composite High School. This is where I went to school. And the reason I'm here, I mentioned this yesterday, Mom and Dad don't have good enough internet, of course, right? In Wynyard, Saskatchewan, we can't get the internet service to do the show live or to jump on a video call. So I reached out to some teachers here and said, hey, is there an opportunity to come do it at the school? They opened the doors. Like, this has been awesome. I was hanging out all morning, prepping for the show, playing basketball. Like, I had the school to myself, which was great. And then they were so awesome a couple of nights ago that they invited me to their staff Christmas party. And you want to talk about letting the hair down a little bit. Like, you think teachers are just like prim and proper and structured and rules. And they told me that was one of the tamer Christmas parties that they've had. But I'm still recovering.
At the best of times, teachers probably want to pull their hair out, right? And now you put in what this last year and a half, 2 years has been like in a school setting. You got to let loose, or else you're just going to go insane, you know?
Yeah. So shout outs. We were at the this new place in town. It's called Beer Pizza Golf. I don't know if I can. There you go. Beer Pizza Golf. That's owned by a girl I went to high school with, Ashley, and her husband Michael. They started it. So, like, I love the entrepreneurship thing. If I say hairdresser, I don't know if that's the right term in the business, and I don't want to be,
stylist.
But anyways, so they've got she's got a salon in there. They've got a little clothing store. Then they've got a little coffee shop. So they've hooked me up with the coffee every morning. I stopped in. It's great to have a visit. And then in the back, they've got a couple of golf simulators, and that's where we're hanging out for the Christmas party. So a couple of entrepreneurs in town and doing a great job, and it's awesome. So let's get into it today.
Let's get into it. Well, I was going to say, I know where I'm headed Labor Day weekend when I'll make my annual pilgrimage to the Queen City.
That's right. You'll come up the highway. So it's perfect. Look, today on the show, again, Jim Mullin's coming up, Brendan Batchelor's coming up, but there's a couple of things I want to get to. Tonight, obviously, is a Thursday nighter. We've got some NHL talk to get to. Wayne Gretzky has some things to say that I want to touch on, but I want to start with you in the CFL. And I know Justin was on. We went pretty deep on this, but we went pretty deep on Winnipeg, Darrin, and just recapping this year from a Winnipeg Blue Bombers perspective, because I know you cover them very closely and you cover the league at Bonfire and you were at the Grey Cup, which, by the way, the coverage was outstanding. What was the whole Grey Cup experience like for you covering it, being from Winnipeg and having the Bombers there?
Yeah, like it was different. Obviously, it's not like those Grey Cups of years gone by where it is a true integrated party where there's Argos fans and Alouettes fans and Rider fans and Lions fans and there's Stamps House going off and Touchdown Manitoba and all the parties and everybody kind of party hopping like that. Like you think of a pub crawl, that's what the Grey Cup is for everybody. And, for us in the media, you got that time, obviously, during the day. You're running on low sleep. Energy management is number one. But when evening comes, like, oh, hey, there's my buddies from across the country. They're at this party. Let's go. And you jump around. There was none of that this year, which is tough. And I'm glad Hamilton's getting the Grey Cup back in a couple years. Looking forward to, fingers crossed, a more normal Grey Cup in Regina in just about 10 or 11 months' time. But overall, like, I was most impressed with the league. And I'm not just saying this. Like, I'm friends with a lot of the people at the Canadian Football League head office, but they did an astounding job with the testing and with ensuring everything went smoothly, with safety, with availability, and just making it as user friendly as possible for those in the media. Huge shout out to Olivier Poulin and Lucas Barrett and Guillaume and Mark and everybody there. They did a great job. That aside, though, Darrin, like, the Football Reporters of Canada hospitality suite was awesome because we all got tested every day. So we kind of just sardine canned into the hospitality suite. Our good friend, Daryl Davis, of course, from Saskatchewan, he hosts it every year. We had an influx of beer, an overload of beer. We had to turn down Sleeman, actually. So thanks to them and thanks to all our sponsors and donators and TSM. We had to turn it away. We had too much beer, but it was great to be able to kind of be in that little bubble for a little bit amongst the media and enjoy and catch up with everybody. But when it came to the game, Darrin, could you ask for a better game? And there were so many storylines going into that game between the rematch of Hamilton and Winnipeg and it being the third time Hamilton and Winnipeg had met in back-to-back Grey Cups, 58 and 59, then 1961 and 62, the Bombers sweeping both of those. Then you look at 2019, a pandemic year off. Both of these franchises keep everything together, and they face off again. But this time, the Bombers heavy favorites, where Hamilton was a heavy favorite in 2019. We didn't get the upset, but we got a real entertaining nail-biter football game that goes to overtime and ended on a play that I don't think you see very often on any football field, and that's like a tip, a scoop, and an interception in overtime to seal it. There was just so much controversy with the knee in the end zone, intrigue and storylines. Aside from it being the team that I cover in it, I think really Canadians across the country enjoyed that game for what it was, because it was really different and really special, and everybody got their full dollar value for entertainment.
Oh, did they ever? And we talked about a lot throughout the year. I mean, in the offseason, the XFL talks were official. They happened. We were talking about that. What's wrong with the Canadian Football League? All these issues that maybe are still there. And then we had one of the lowest scoring seasons since the 70s. We had these tough games. But then the playoffs and the Grey Cup were just outstanding. And is that enough to keep everybody excited and kind of forget about what the season was? Because it was, with that Grey Cup was one of the best in recent memory. Did that fix and solve a lot of the problems that we dealt with throughout the year?
Well, I think that's an important question. And my answer is, unfortunately, no. I don't think it is, because those that tuned in through the playoffs, a great East final, a great West final, a fantastic Grey Cup, those people are invested in the league. You've already got them. It's the ones that went to a game on a Thursday night in August. It's the ones that went to a game on a Sunday afternoon in September. What was their game experience like? What was their fan experience like? What did the game provide them for their entertainment dollar? And yeah, the scoring was down this year. I know that's probably how you draw in fans. It's unfortunate because the CFL doesn't need to curate more passion and fervor in the fans it already has. I think this year did that, especially with it being a year away. I said this to Rod several months ago. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. And there was some great football this year and defensive football that I really appreciated. I think that, true, pigskin heads enjoy in defensive football. But for drawing in those new fans, for drawing in the younger fan base, they want touchdowns, they want scoring, they want big plays. Devontae Dedmon of the Ottawa Redblacks provided a lot of that on special teams, which was great. But was it enough? I don't think it was enough to really move the needle much. I think the league is doing good things in the digital sphere to expand and to draw in new fans. But the product on the field, look, you want to talk about four downs? We can talk all day about four downs. It's a moot point to me. ridiculous. You can't do it. But they need to find a way to continue to make this game exciting, make it marketable, make it, continue to branch out. You got your core. Find that new fan base. And they're right there, Darrin. People always say, well, young people don't care about the CFL. I go to Blue Bomber games, and outside the stadium, it's all 20 and 30-somethings tailgating. All of them. Are they watching the game? Are they following during the week? Are they watching the playoffs? Are they watching out-of-market games? I don't know. Maybe not. But they're right there. You have them. You got to appeal to them. I think that's the key in the next few years for the CFL to continue to grow.
I agree. And with those 20s and 30s, if you get that group and they love it, you're going to get their kids, right?
Yeah.
And it's the generation, the gap is not the 20s and 30s. It's actually the 65 and over. It's that gap in between. The 40 and 50-year-olds, I think, is the gap that was missed. Because if your dad's taking you to the game, so you can use the parents to help market the kids all.
Yeah.
Okay. 4 downs.
Okay.
But that's different than sorry, Clark was just in my ear. Do you want to go to a break now, Clark? The internet, not so good anymore. So we'll take a break. We'll come back. So now it's good? Okay. It could be because I've opened off, and we'll take a break and come back. Okay? This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Good.
We'll get back into this Grey Cup conversation with Darrin Bauming after this. Here from Wynyard on Game Plus and YouTube Live.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Addiction. It destroys relationships, families, and lives. It makes individuals and the people who love them feel powerless. But the good news is that addiction is a treatable illness. At Aurora Recovery Center, we provide everything you need to build a solid foundation for your recovery, with holistic, evidence-based treatment tailored to each individual. Located in Gimli, Manitoba, on the shores of Lake Winnipeg, Aurora can help regardless of whether or not you feel ready or have tried before. Aurora Recovery Center. Recovery for life. Visit aurorarecoverycenter.com for more information today.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar Buying Group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
In the heat of the summer, familiar sounds, feel in the air, it's the best thing anywhere. Just give me back my game. 'Cause I live for the drama, I live for the emotion. No one can take me down, bring me back my football.
BetRegal.net, exclusive sports gaming partner of the CFL. Comfort has always been something we, as people, strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
The high school in Wynyard, 2005. Check this out. I don't know if I want to show you this, but look at that. That is, what am I, 18 at the time, top right? I found it on the high school wall there, Darrin.
That's the best. That is the best. I love the spiky hair.
Yeah, no frosted tips, but we had the hair spiked up, and that's how she goes. Home here in
high school, baby.
I know
it's a different world. It's a different life.
I know, different life. That's for sure. And to be honest, it's been almost 15 years. I haven't been in the school, and almost didn't know my way around. There's been some renos in the meantime, so it's been kind of nostalgic coming back here and hanging out for a few days during the holidays. Didn't ask you at the beginning, what's up in the Bauming household for the holidays?
Yeah, I got some family in from Ontario, and nice to spend some time with my nieces. They wanted to make sure, they were all vaxxed up and healthy and good, and they got here. And, well, we had Christmas last night and the night before. So night before at, Grandma and Grandpa's, and then last night here with my partner, Erin, and, she cooked up a storm. We had a great time, but this is kind of the norm. Well, at least in my household for many years where, they're not able to be here on the 25th. My birthday's on the 27th. I gotta, get this. My girlfriend, Erin, she made this Bonfire sports cake. Like she layered it up with the 3 Bs and I don't know if your fans are familiar with the logo, right? But it's kind of like a 3B logo. And I don't know how many hours she spent doing this, but this is what she did. She was sneaky. She goes to her mom's house and she's like, Darrin, I'm binging Yellowstone. I can't stop watching. I'll see you later. And I'm like, okay, she's trying to catch up to me. I'm already in the 4th season.
That's a realistic thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Next thing you know, it's December 22nd or whatever it is, 5 days before my birthday. And there's happy birthday, Darrin, Bonfire sports cake. She's a crafts person. And an artist, and that was a really nice thing. But yeah, I mean, hey, you do what you can this holiday season to enjoy it all. But I do want to mention my high school, okay? Because I got a little story. So Silver Heights Collegiate in Winnipeg doesn't exist anymore. They tore it down a few years after I graduated. Okay. They amalgamated it with Sturgeon Creek High School, so it became Sturgeon Heights. So I now say I'm an alma mater of Sturgeon Heights and the Huskies. I was a Husky in all the sports I played. Well, it's Anthony Coombs and Keenan LaFrance who signed a new contract with the Rough Riders today. A whole handful of very talented Canadian Football League players came out of Sturgeon Creek, now Sturgeon Heights. So now I can say I went to the same high school, even though I didn't, as all those talented Winnipeggers playing pro ball.
I would keep that. Nobody's going to check that, right?
No, I hope not.
Of course you did. To the comments on YouTube, Jeff Cabilla says, Yellowstone's an absolute addiction. It is.
It is.
There are a few comments here about the Wi-Fi in the Wynyard School. Unbelievable. Let me take a peek. Randolph Charles says, 5G not available in Wynyard, Sask? Not yet. William May says, maybe the wind blew the Wi-Fi away. What else do we got here? High five for this. Oh, that's John Holmes said, high five for the CFL getting the season and can't wait for 2022 on our CFL talk. That was pretty good. Randolph Charles says maybe Moose didn't have anything to say and did a fake breakup. I'm losing you. Gotta go. Shut the phone.
I'm in the tunnel.
Losing a signal.
Clark?
Go. Yeah, exactly. Don Mitchell says, Clark, get the dial up fired up. School Wi-Fi sucks. They don't want the kids to use it. That's actually true. So I've got a hardwired line in. Here's the best one, though. Jeff says DuPont's AOL subscription is almost up. That's why it was bouncing in and out. That's pretty good. I want to go to hockey because we're going to have Brendan Batchelor coming up in hour 2, and I want to get to the Canucks with him. But as we sit here right now, it hasn't just been wild for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in Winnipeg. It's been a bit of turbulence for the Winnipeg Jets as we woke up last week with the news that Paul Maurice was resigning. What was your initial reaction, and what was the Winnipeg reaction when we heard that news? Because I was getting ready in the morning. I saw it, and I'm like, what? And I had to tune into his press conference, but it was definitely a shock. What were you thinking when Paul Maurice announced his resignation?
Yeah, it wasn't quite as shocking as, me waking up to a phone call from you, Darrin, saying, is TSN radio still a thing in Winnipeg? That took me as a shock. Not quite like that, but when a head coach resigns, like the old adage, and I think I heard Dave Poulin mention this the other day, you can't fire the players, so you fire the coach or the GM. Well, in essence, and very apt insight from Dave Poulin on this, Paul Maurice essentially fired the team. Now, he didn't do it in any sort of actual firing way. He stepped back extremely gracefully, had a very heartfelt and sincere press conference to, state his reasons and all of that. You look at Paul Maurice, he's a young guy. Like, he's I don't know, in his mid-late 50s, something like that. But he's coached the 4th most games in NHL history, He started in his 20s, right? And it's amazing to think just the perspective you gain coaching in hockey for that long and still being a young person and having that different perspective on life and what's next and your family and all of that. He says he's been driving the family bus for enough years. Maybe it's time for his wife to drive the bus of like where they settle and where they live and the type of life that they have. They've been following him around. Like he was coaching, I think, Magnitogorsk in the KHL, prior to joining the Winnipeg Jets, right? That time between the Toronto Maple Leafs and Winnipeg. So good for him and good for his family. But I think it says a lot about the man that he's willing to say, I can't do any more here. Like, I've tried different things. I've been here for, I think it was almost 8 years, 2 months short of 8 years. And he looks at the talent on this team, right? And the moves they made this offseason, like they called it the summer of Chevy. Kevin Cheveldayoff, the general manager here in Winnipeg, the summer of Chevy here in Manitoba, where they go and get Nate Schmidt, top pairing defenseman. They get Brendan Dillon, a 6'4" grinder defenseman that they needed to kind of go along with, a 6'6" Logan Stanley and smaller, more diminutive speed skill players and Neil Pionk and Josh Morrissey. Great moves. They have all that firepower up front and Kyle Connor and Nikolai Ehlers and on through Mark Scheifele and the rest. But the window is small. They have a Vezina Trophy caliber goaltender. They have Paul Stastny, who just hit 500 career assists. How much does he have left? He's still contributing fantastic. He had 3 points the other night, 2 goals and an assist in their win. And for the Winnipeg Jets and for Paul Maurice to say, okay, it's time. Something has to change here and I can't provide it. I think says a lot about him and how much he cares, not just about this team or these men in the room. He says he's cheering for them and I believe him. But for the chairman of True North Sports and Entertainment, Mark Chipman, general manager Kevin Cheveldayoff, Paul Maurice, they're all very close friends. They had a conversation this summer. Maurice.
Hi, Jim. Jim Mullin, president of Football Canada, is coming up in a minute. But he logged in and it bumped Darrin Bauming off. So we're going to see if we can get Darrin Bauming back on the screen. I love the little check-ins, though. We got to do that more often. Have the guys check in like that and knock our co-host out of the screen. But he's right. We'll get Darrin to finish up his thoughts on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers here in a sec, or on the Winnipeg Jets in a second. That was a bit of a shock. Dave Lowry's now behind the bench for the Winnipeg Jets. And I want to get Darrin's take on where the Jets are going now, leading into Christmas, to kind of reassess the Jets so that our viewers in Winnipeg can really know what to expect coming up in the new year. I'm also going to get to this, and let's do this now, the poll question, Clark. And did we go with the OV question? Is that what we went with? So the question is, our poll question for Capital Automall Universal Collision Center today, Wayne Gretzky came out this week and he said that Alexander Ovechkin's going to break the record. It's going to happen, and I'm okay with it, he says. 894 goals, the all-time goal-scoring record in the NHL. Alexander Ovechkin is currently fourth with 752. He's 140 goals behind. Ovi, who's 36 years old, has 22 goals in 31 games already. He's on pace for 58 goals as we welcome back Darrin Bauming. And I'll get your Jets thought back in a second. But the poll question is, will Alexander Ovechkin break Wayne Gretzky's goal record? He needs 140 to do it. He's 36 years old. So vote now on YouTube at rodpedersen.com and on Twitter. Before we get to that, let's finish the thought on Paul Maurice.
Well, I'm not sure exactly where it cut out there, but in the end, admirable move for Paul Maurice to make that decision for the organization. He's close with Mark Chipman, the chairman of True North Sports Entertainment, with Kevin Cheveldayoff, the general manager. They're close friends. They met this past summer and, said, okay, the time is now. Window to win in the National Hockey League closes very quickly. So all the pieces are there. They need to start producing results. Dave Lowry, maybe that change of voice, that change of tone in the room will be enough to catapult them back to where you'd look at the roster, where they should be, not just in the Western Conference, Darrin, but in the league.
Absolutely. Connor Anderson's watching, says good morning. We say good morning to Connor. We say good morning to Robin Wildy, who's watching, and he says, Producer Clark hitting the eggnog hard this morning, asleep at the controls. No, Bingo. This isn't Clark's problem, but I wouldn't be surprised if they had it going on back there. Why not? It's a holiday. Second last day before the break. So that's pretty good. Want to say B. Anderson's watching, says the Jets can only go up from here. So that's the big question now. As we get into the Christmas break, under Dave Lowry, where are the Winnipeg Jets? And what is the outlook as we move forward to 2022 in your mind for the Jets?
Well, they're 3 points out of a wild card spot. Edmonton, Colorado at 36, and they're sitting at 33, 14, 11, and 5. And they've had these blips on their schedule where they're playing great hockey, and then Arizona comes to town and the Coyotes get a road win. Like, where did that come from? Buffalo comes to town and they pull out, I think, their second win in their previous 4 games or something to that extent. They seem to be playing to the level of their opponent. And that's kind of plagued them for the last few years under Paul Maurice. Then they get, like a heavyweight tilt in the West or a cross-conference game, and they play unbelievable. They check hard. They play 200 feet. Like Connor Hellebuck, the goaltending is always there. He seems to play better when he gets more work. So when you play against those good teams that create a lot of chances and there's a lot of action in the Winnipeg Jets zone, he plays better. I'm not saying the team takes on Connor Hellebuck's, mentality, and that you play to your opponent, and when there's a lot of action in the Jets' end, they seem to play better. But they are a punch-counter-punch type of team, the way I see them. And another thing the players have mentioned too is that because they have so much skill, like the way Nikolai Ehlers can use this unbelievable speed, nearly at the Connor McDavid level of bringing it into the zone and making some havoc happen for defenders on the rush, and then how good Kyle Connor is in tight and also on the rush, and then a shot from the perimeter that's proving as effective as, his stick work in close in the slot and at the sides of the net. It's giving teams headaches. But because that skill is there and they know they can make the play, they seem to try to make that pretty play every time. And I think what they need to do is get back to more fundamental hockey and just get the pucks to the net and rely on the bounces and the close opportunities to make things happen. sometimes, the way I see the game, Darrin, is defenders go, oh, the puck's over here, the puck's over, like, where is it? They're used to defending the rush. That's something they can practice. But that bouncing puck off the glass or off the backboards or off the side of the net or redirecting off a player's body, those are the things you can't practice. You can work on skills to react quicker. But the Winnipeg Jets have the skill to be able to take that bouncing puck, that stray, bouncer in the offensive zone and make something happen out of it. So they don't need to create the pretty play. Nikolai Ehlers was clear in the last media availability we had with the Winnipeg Jets that, maybe they need to just get back to not focusing on the pretty play and kind of do it the old-fashioned way. I think that'll be a big part of it. Dave Lowry is a fundamental type coach, and coaching in the Western Hockey League, it's about system, not as much about making these fantastic plays with world-class players. Maybe we'll see a little bit of a different Winnipeg Jets after the break when Dave Lowry, thrust into this job, has a little bit of time to strategize as the new head coach.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's awesome. So looking forward to that and seeing where the Jets go. You're right. Clearly there's enough firepower there and there's enough weapons. Can they bring it all together? Darrin, we'll see you back here for hour 2. How's that sound?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Awesome. Darrin Bauming joining us from Bonfire Sports in Winnipeg. Great update on the Bombers, the Jets. We're going to get into more of that, and we'll talk to him in hour 2. And we'll talk about Alexander Ovechkin and his chase for the all-time goals record in the NHL. But we're going to go out to the West Coast, and we're going to visit with the president of Football Canada, Jim Mullin, on the other side. It's the Rod Pedersen Show. Darrin DuPont in for Rod here on a Thursday, here on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, wherever you get your podcasts, and 24/7 Sports Radio at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Addiction. It destroys relationships, families, and lives. It makes individuals and the people who love them feel powerless. But the good news is that addiction is a treatable illness. At Aurora Recovery Center, we provide everything you need to build a solid foundation for your recovery, with holistic, evidence-based treatment tailored to each individual. Located in Gimli, Manitoba, on the shores of Lake Winnipeg, Aurora can help regardless of whether or not you feel ready or have tried before. Aurora Recovery Center. Recovery for life. Visit aurorarecoverycenter.com for more information today.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of time. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might hit your head. That could cause a traumatic brain injury that, depending on how severe it is, could take months to heal or leave you with long-term effects. Effects like getting debilitating headaches for the rest of your life. Slips, trips, and falls can have a lifetime impact. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Hey, Don.
Hey, Quinn.
We have a surprise for you.
Oh, my.
A Landmark Cinemas $30 gift card with $40 in great movie savings is the perfect gift to give, or give to yourself. Get yours today in theater or online at landmarkcinemas.com and make it a merry movie season. Landmark Cinemas, for movie lovers.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com. We're in the high school. This is hanging in the rafters, the hall of the gym. Look at that. Jim will appreciate that. I'm on a banner. That was the 2001 nine-man high school provincial championships. In full disclosure, I was a rookie, grade 9, contributed 0. But I was the scout team quarterback, okay, in practice. So that was my job for a little bit of 2001 as we bring in Jim Mullin from Football Canada. He's out on the West Coast. How do you like that, Jim?
You brought the spirit. Yes, you did. That's about all you brought, but you brought the spirit.
I know. And I just remember, like, grade 9. I mean, it just getting started. We didn't have minor football, right? So, I mean, we grabbed cleats out of this old cardboard box. They had holes in them. We use plastic bags, when you're playing into November and there's snow on the ground. You got to wear plastic bags inside the cleats. Those were some times.
Well, that's a great thing about 9-man football, 6-man football. It's football, man. You take football memories out of that, and you stay associated with the game. So there's all kinds of different ways we can get the field.
Absolutely. Well, it's great to see you. The first thing I wanted to ask you, and I'm glad you're wearing the hoodie, is where can I get one of those? They're for sale now, I believe, right?
Yes, they are. We have this. We have a gray version. We have 3 T-shirts in white, black, and orange. They're available at footballcanadashop.ca. And seeing that we're on the 23rd, it's not going to make it under your tree for Christmas, but maybe it's a good Ukrainian Orthodox Christmas present that we can get to you by January 7th in around there.
I like it.
It's a lot of fun so far.
We're right behind the Garlic Curtain here in East Central Saskatchewan. So that, of course, Ukrainian Christmas. Absolutely. That fits right in. The logo, that was one of the big things that came out in 2021. Take us back to the concept, the idea behind it, because it's been one of the great things that we've seen.
I'm glad that you had my nephew Colton on here that came up with this. It really happened quite quickly. The BC Lions had announced that they were doing something with a local Indigenous artist, and that happened to be my nephew Colton's aunt that had come up with that BC Lions logo, and he had shared it with me. He said, "Hey, my auntie did this." I said, "Well," then this was on Facebook Messenger, and I just dropped him a note saying, "Well, here's the logo that I did for Football Canada. You want to collaborate and do something?" Within 4 days, we had generated this. And it was really part of a centerpiece for what we did with football weekend in Canada. It really helped support the story that we told about the team up in Fort Mackay with boys and girls playing football there from a First Nation just north of Fort McMurray, Alberta. So it's helped, and it's also helped raise a lot of funds that in the new year we can apply to Indigenous football across the country.
You and I were watching the Vanier Cup, and again, thanks for being a wonderful host, you and Kia. I mean, it was unbelievable being out there. I really appreciate that. And that was kind of the wrap on the amateur sports season that weekend. Of course, the Langley Rams doing their thing and winning the Canadian Bowl, the Western Mustangs winning the Vanier Cup, and then early December, we wrapped up the Canadian football season really with the Grey Cup, and it was a great Grey Cup. But have you had some time to reflect on 2021 as a whole? And if you have, how would you sum up, from your perspective as the president of Football Canada, the football season, the 2021 football season?
Well, it was better than 2020. We could say that much. The 2021 season really was something that we had to navigate through. And I think our provinces did a good job of doing that. One of the things about COVID and the pandemic is that it's accelerated trends. And one of the trends that it has pushed forward in most of our provinces is a shift for youth football under the age of 12 from tackle to flag. And where we've seen drop-offs in the number of tackle participants, we've seen an expansion in the number of flag participants. So it's been a pretty good offset throughout the year. I will say that our football season was officially wrapped up 2 days ago when BC played Alberta in the U18, U17, and U16 out here in Lane. They got it in just under the wire here with the COVID restrictions. It was a good substitute for those provinces, considering that there was no Canada Cup this year. But this past season gave us a great opportunity to plan for not just 2022, but we're launching a plan for 22 through 25 and even into 26 with some of our partners. So it's allowed us to take the time and the energy and the effort to really plot out and put a course and a strategy forward to determine what we're doing, how we're doing it, and the partners that we're working with.
We got about 5 more minutes here, and I know we never have enough time to get through everything I want to. But looking ahead, I mean, in the state of football, obviously we talk about the Canadian Football League a lot and what they're doing and the different obstacles that they have, whether it's moving forward and expanding CFL 2.0, whether it's, how do we handle the rules of the game or what needs to move forward. You've mentioned that in the new year, you're going to get an opportunity to talk to some CFL presidents across the league. What's top of mind in terms of what needs to be accomplished in 2022?
Yeah, there's a lot there. It is fortunate that we will have that opportunity on January the 18th to have a discussion with CFL presidents. It's about 2 years in the making. I would really like to focus on 2 things, and I think they're both complementary to where the CFL needs to go on this. One of them is our grassroots programming, introducing the very basics of the game to kids 4 to 8, and the CFL teams have a great opportunity here with the programming that we have to step forward and be a partner with us, to get their branding forward, to introduce it in their communities and to a diverse set of communities in each of their cities. The other part is extremely complementary to CFL 2.0 on the global side. As we move forward into 2022, we go back into the international space. It helps that I was recently appointed as Secretary General of IFAF, the international body on this, so we can extend that international conversation. But with Team Canada, I see the World Junior Hockey Tournament gearing up. We have an opportunity to do that sort of thing in that space as well. And it's a way to bring international football to us, and it's a way to partner, I believe, with our stakeholders like U Sports, the CJFL, and the CFL to get their branding and to get our game out in front of the eyes of people, not just in Canada, but around the world as well.
We've seen it. There's been an incredible amount of success for Canada on the international stage competing. What's the reputation outside of our borders about the Canadian game? Because you've been out and interacting with some of those different countries.
Well, IFAF is an organization that has had to take some baby steps after some turbulence, shall we say, over the years. Now that they've kind of reestablished themselves and have a focus on flag for the 2028 LA Olympic Games, there's a real opportunity here to branch out into different types of football, whether it's six-a-side internationally, so we can get African countries to play the game. And I think Saskatoon would be a great annual place to have a six-a-side tournament every year in and year out internationally. I'm just throwing that out there. And then the other piece to this is one of the reasons I came on the IFAF board is to get our code recognized by IFAF, the Canadian Amateur Rulebook 12-man. People know it's there. Some people know it's there better than others. The Scandinavian countries appreciate it. Australia, New Zealand, they appreciate it. Mexico's looking for opportunities here. Japan is looking for opportunities here. The Americans, maybe not as much, but we'd love to have them.
Of course. That's awesome. Well, we know it's a great game, and it's going to continue to expand, especially with all the work you're putting in. On the other side, the other hat you wear is producing and hosting Crown Gridiron Nation on TSN. What's the holiday viewing schedule? Is there one? And the flip side to that is we got more bowl games today. Obviously, we move forward towards the new year. Who should Canadian fans, football fans, be paying attention to in the holiday bowl season?
Well, I'll tell you, one of the things that we will be doing throughout the holidays is getting our bowl capsules out there. We did them in the show. We're going to be starting to roll them out today. So I'm going to hold back and I'm going to say, go check our Twitter out day after day, and we'll tell you who you should be looking for in those bowl games. At the end of the bowl season, we're going to do a recap on how Canadians did. That will run on tsn.ca. And then as we get towards the off season, I'm also wearing another hat, and that I'm one of the patrons of the Cornish Trophy. We'll be doing a media piece around the presentation of the Cornish Trophy. I think I know who the favorite is on this. I think everybody knows who the favorite is on this. He's a certain injured player sitting down in Tuscaloosa right now.
I was going to say, unfortunately, he probably, he's not probably, he won't be playing. We won't get to watch him on New Year's Eve, which is unfortunate, but that's fun. So what's the Twitter handle quickly?
Twitter handle is Jim Mullin TSN, and there's also KGN on TSN if you want to follow the show as well. And it'll be a build-up for the Cornish Trophy, which is also a Twitter handle if you want to follow that. And we'll see if John Mechie III wins his second consecutive Cornish Trophy.
Clark, you want to throw those into the comments, those Twitter handles. Watch those. You get a full breakdown of all the bowl games that feature Canadian players and a little more viewing interest as you navigate the TV guide through the holiday season. Jim, it's been fun. It's always too short. But it was great seeing you, and we'll do it more in 2022, I promise.
Thanks very much. And I'd like to thank producer Clark. I gave him conniptions there a few minutes ago by hitting the wrong button. So I know what it's like to be behind a board and get surprises. Thanks, Clark.
Let's go.
Merry Christmas, Jim.
Merry Christmas.
Jim Mullin, the president of Football Canada, joining us. We'll take a timeout and viewer takeover for Taco Time coming up on the other side of the break. It's the Rod Pedersen Show, YouTube Live, Facebook, if you want to follow along with some of our content as well. And check us out wherever you get your podcasts.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might sprain your wrist, or even fracture it. A severe wrist fracture can take at least 2 months to heal properly. And it can cause you to develop arthritis that keeps you from doing something as simple as picking up your child without pain. Slips, trips, and falls can have a lifetime impact. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
We have a surprise for you.
Oh my.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
This holiday season, wish your way at Capital GMC. Unwrap a completely customized vehicle ordering experience. Reserve a pre-ordered unit that's already on its way. Or get into a GM certified pre-owned vehicle that's on the lot and ready to roll. And don't forget, we pay big for your used vehicle, even if you don't buy from us. Plus, our service department is your winter headquarters. Get special pricing on name brand tires, storage, maintenance, and more. And we always offer free vehicle pickup and delivery. This holiday season, wish your way at Capital GMC.
Hey, Matt, how's it going? We have something really special.
Holy, it's pretty impressive.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
The World Junior Preview Show. That's tomorrow to wrap up the week and say Merry Christmas. Tomorrow, here on the program, 12 Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, regularly scheduled time on Game Plus and on YouTube Live. It is going to be wonderful. Alan Miller from Hockey Canada will be along. Peter Labardius will be here. Julie Robenheimer. Rod will be back. So he's making a brief detour back through the show. So there we go. We don't have much time left here in hour one, but thanks to Jim Mullin and Darrin Bauming for joining us here in hour one and for being here on the podcast. This is Taco Time Viewer Takeover. So we'll move this into hour two, okay? And I've got texts here from Randy and Craig and John and Ron. We're going to get to all those coming up here in hour two. So stick around. Merry Christmas. We're going to have some more fun here from the Wynyard Composite High School after the break on YouTube, Game Plus. Listen live at rodpedersen.com and wherever you get your podcasts.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
This holiday season, wish your way at Capital Ford Lincoln. Unwrap a completely customized vehicle ordering experience. Reserve a pre-ordered unit that's already on its way. Or get into a pre-owned vehicle that's on the lot and ready to roll. And don't forget, we pay big for your used vehicle, even if you don't buy from us. Plus, our service department is your winter headquarters. Get special pricing on name brand tires, storage, maintenance, and more. And we always offer free vehicle pickup and delivery. This holiday season, wish your way at Capital Ford Lincoln.
I started the Shatler Lacrosse Academy 3 years ago, and my main goal for the province of Saskatchewan was to spread the game and the awareness of lacrosse. Jeff Shatler here, number 77 with the Saskatchewan Rush. I currently play forward, 16 years pro. I live, work, and play in the province of Saskatchewan. Direct West's mission is to grow Saskatchewan economy by helping small local businesses win with digital advertising services, but they are also a major supporter of local sport, art, and charitable organizations. Year after year, Direct West continues to put their money where their mouth is, and ensuring the minor sports and art and music festivals can continue to thrive in our province. They continue to do all they can to promote our communities and assist nonprofit charitable organizations in the effort to improve the quality of life in the province of Saskatchewan. I'm proud to work with Direct West and call the province of Saskatchewan my home.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might hit your head. That could cause a traumatic brain injury that, depending on how severe it is, could take months to heal or leave you with long-term effects. Effects like getting debilitating headaches for the rest of your life. Slips, trips, and falls can have a lifetime impact. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
In the heat of the summer, familiar sounds, feel in the air, it's the best thing anywhere. Just give me back my game. 'Cause I live for the drama, I live for the emotion. No one can take me down, bring me back my football.
BetRegal.net, exclusive sports gaming partner of the CFL.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to RodPedersenShop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at RodPedersenShop.com.
Right now.
Yeah, Rod's not here, so I'm hosting the show.
How about that?
And we're doing the show from the Wynyard Campus at high school. And we got some family kicking around here somewhere, too. My brother just brought his family by, his wife and his two boys. So we're right in the holiday spirit. They may be playing some basketball in behind me here. But right now, I think they're going and trying to find Dad's old high school graduation photo. And Mom's, too. They both graduated from the Wynyard Campus at high school. As we say hello and welcome to Hour 2 of the show. And for our podcast listeners, Hour 2 as well. Thank you for tuning in, and happy holidays wherever you are, whenever you may be listening to this. And if you're joining us live on YouTube and on Game Plus, we say Merry Christmas as well, as we want to welcome in Darrin Bauming again. We had him in for Hour 1, and he's back here for Hour 2. What's changed in the last, 35 minutes since we've seen you, Darrin?
Well, dog sitting a whippet. If you don't know what a whippet is, it's like a mini greyhound, like one of the most unique dogs ever. So dog sitting a whippet, she woke up. She's like an absolute sweetheart. Her name is Junie, short for Juniper. And I think I've fallen in love, Darrin.
Well, we're going to have to get a photo at some point, or you're going to have to tweet it, and we're going to have to pull it up, whatever.
Sure.
Okay. You do that, and we'll go into the text line right now, 902-518-3033. Randy from the Peg says, good morning, Darrin. To your guests, I went to Silver Heights, too. Same time as James Patrick. Happy holidays, Rod Clan.
Wow. There you go.
That's taking it back. Craig is watching as well. Says, preach, Darrin. Love this Darrin Squared segment. And just so you know, he spelt it with the I, and so he was saying preach to you. That's how you separate it, right? Happy Christmas to you, Moose, and the rest of the squad, Craig in Calgary. So that's exciting. John Kirby's watching as well. Says the World Juniors in Alberta will be at 50% capacity starting Sunday. And also, you won't be able to eat or drink at the games. Talk about that. John in Edmonton. I just imagine Rod reading that text and putting his phone through the screen. No, John, we love you. We appreciate the comments. We brought this up yesterday a little bit. What was, I guess, What's your thoughts to 50% capacity, no food or drink at the World Juniors?
I mean, it's going to change the atmosphere, no question about that. With this tournament being in Canada every 2 cycles, it's unfortunate. I mean, it really does travel across the country, and for those fans in Alberta and Eastern British Columbia and Saskatchewan that have a quick trip to get to those games, it kind of stinks. Like, can you imagine Canada winning gold and the building's half full? That sucks. As far as the rules and regulations, it is what it is. We got to do what we can to protect ourselves. And the reality is, when people are in a hockey arena, and whether they're drinking or eating or cheering, there's a lot happening. There's a lot of airflow. So it stinks. What more can you say at this point? You just hope we can get through this Omicron and the rest.
It stinks. What's difficult, and I put on the business hat, which I never take off. But what's difficult is, okay, which 50% get in? I don't know how well attended the games in Red Deer are going to be anyway if Canada's not involved. That's always the case. But in Edmonton, which 50% get in? And especially if you're looking at, I've booked hotels, maybe I'm at the Fantasyland, I've made travel arrangements, and now I may or may not be able to go, or I can't go to the games. That's interesting. Does the hotel issue refunds? Who's on the hook? It's a bit of a mess, but I kind of understand. I know the OUA, and further on this, the OUA shut down sports, but I've heard that the Canada West has not, that they're going to stay put for now in terms of travel, in terms of playing their games. So that's good news, and I got that from a Canada West hockey coach, so it sounds like they're still going to be able to play their games, but it'll be interesting to watch how this transpires in the World Juniors, which, by the way, I believe Canada's taken on Russia tonight in a pre-tournament game. I think the USA has Finland, so we'll be watching closely to see what Canada's going to look like. We welcome your thoughts. Our viewer takeover last segment, which was about 90 seconds, is for Taco Time. Burrito Full Thursday. Buy one burrito, get the second one half off at Taco Time all day today. So the Wayne Gretzky thing, I really wanted to get into this, and I wanted to make sure we had some time on this. Gretzky, I saw in my notifications yesterday, he is convinced that Alexander Ovechkin is going to break his record of 894 goals in the NHL. Ovi currently sitting with 752. It's a foregone conclusion to Wayne Gretzky that Alexander Ovechkin is going to break the record. He's got 752, currently sitting in 4th behind Jaromir Jagr of 766 and Gordie Howe's 801, which means as of today, Alexander Ovechkin needs 140 goals to get to 894 and 141 to break the record. He's 36 years old, playing the first year of a new 5-year contract that he signed in the offseason. He's second in the NHL with 22 goals in 31 games and currently on pace for 58 goals. Now, I'm going to say, it's hard to keep up a pace throughout the whole season. But if he hits 40 goals this year, okay, if he drops the pace and he gets to 40, that means he needs 100 goals to break the record, to get to the record, 101 to break it. Over the next 4 years of his contract, which he'll finish it and be 40 years old in the final year, he has to average 25 goals a year. It's our poll question for Capital Automall Universal Collision Center. Darrin Bauming, does Alexander Ovechkin break the record?
So I have a couple thoughts on this. First and foremost, Alexander Ovechkin has found a fountain of youth, or he's mentally found a way to play his best hockey at this stage of his career. And, his hot start has been a heck of a lot of fun to watch. I write for NHL.com. They come to Winnipeg. He needed 1 goal to move into the all-time lead in power play goals and pass Dave Andreychuk. And the Winnipeg Jets have a putrid penalty kill right now. So I'm ready to write that story. Doesn't happen. And I was a little bit surprised. But Jaromir Jagr, if he didn't go overseas for a couple years, what would his total be like? Because they don't include those goals. Obviously, those are NHL goal totals. Wayne Gretzky. This is the thought that popped into my head when you said that, there's no question in Wayne Gretzky's mind he'll pass that record. Okay, let's have a moment here to be absolutely real. What's Wayne Gretzky going to say? Is he going to say, no, he won't catch my record? Like, that's not Wayne Gretzky's brand. He's not going to be that guy. Can you imagine?
No, it
if
is
99
not.
was like, no, he's not going to catch. Of course he's going to say he's going to catch his record. But the question is being asked because it is possible. Like, if Ovi had 11 goals this year, I don't know if people would be like, well, could he? But now it's, can he? Like, yeah, he can. I think the optimism is real. And you mentioned averaging 25 goals a year through the age of 40 and the end of his contract with the Caps. It's all about, getting on the right side of that ledger and how many more than 25 he can score this season, next season, maybe even the following to catch that record or catch that pace a little bit quicker. But all the power to him. Watching Alexander Ovechkin live in person with my own eyes last week, Darrin, like, nobody plays the game like him. Just where he skates on the ice in transition, going from, attack zone to back check and neutral zone ice. It's almost like if you didn't know it was Alexander Ovechkin, you'd be like, what is this guy doing out there? Like, he skates kind of all over the place when he's away from the puck. And I know TV doesn't always show that. Obviously, they'll show hyper close-ups of him, and then when he has the puck or is in the attack zone. But watching him in person, especially from a press box perspective, 8 and the jersey tucked behind the pants, like that famous, you can tell him it's him from 100 miles away. He's all over the place, but he's figured out a way to make it work. He obviously still has a ton of value on the ice, off as a leader, and all of that. You just hope the Washington Capitals can get healthy. Nick Backstrom and Kuznetsov, a couple of those guys have been either COVID list or injured. He needs those guys. When you get older and you start, to find different ways to be effective, you got to rely on that supporting cast, and Ovi needs it like anybody.
Look, Jaromir Jagr, he's played a long time, and when you think of fountain of youth and guy who can play forever, we always think of Jagr. I went back and looked. So his 4 years to end his 30s, from 36, 37 to 40, his goal totals were 14, 2, 24, and 11. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, Gretzky, his last 6 years, he became even more of a playmaker. But Gretzky's last 6 years, he hit 20 goals twice, 25 and 23 goals. Injuries play a factor in this too. And we know in sports, when you get older, it's unexpected when the drop-off's going to happen. But when it happens, it's usually pretty steep. It's not usually pretty gradual. It's usually you go from 30 goals a year to 10 to 5. It becomes difficult. Are we saying Ovechkin has to play this almost perfectly and not get hurt and not have a drop-off? Or are we confident that, obviously you look at him this year, he looks like a guy who could play till he's 45. And then you don't have to average 25 goals a season. There's a lot of different factors to look into here.
Well, you look at those guys that played late into their career in the 80s and 90s versus today, and kind of those ones in between. Chris Chelios playing to nearly 45 years of age. I think he was 44. Defensemen, forwards, those guys are going to be used differently. But think of the mentality of a National Hockey League coach and how deployment and usage is so different today than it was in years gone by, where if you had Wayne Gretzky on your team, maybe Gretzky is the outlier here, but you have that speed, skill, or that more diminutive, smaller body type player. How are you using them? Are you using them in a checking role? Are you using them on the power play? Is he PP1 or is he PP2? How many opportunities is he getting? Who's he playing with? I think all of those things factor in a lot. And, you can look at age and the team they're on, like Jagr, played in the Eastern Conference his entire career until, scoring 1 goal with the Calgary Flames in 22 games. But, what is their usage? Like, how are they being used? That you're not going to see that on Hockey DB or on a regular stat sheet. So, for Alexander Ovechkin, I think they know his value is sitting in his office on that left dot and on the power play and in those situations. So I think the optimism is deserved. I think, with where his body is, I think winning that Stanley Cup a couple years ago probably rejuvenated him a lot, as much as it probably took a lot of gas out of him in that summer of celebration for the great number 8. But, all the power to him. I hope he pushes, because when he gets close, that's when it's going to be really special and people are going to be tuning in. It's going to be great for the National Hockey League, the Capitals, and everybody.
Free Oleg, who was our rock star of the day yesterday, by the way, a viewer, says Crosby's better, so it doesn't matter. Not the question, but I appreciate it. Jennifer Illingworth says no worries because McDavid, Draisaitl will have that record, and they very well might have that record. They're off to a tremendous start. Jeff Kabila says, speaking of fountains of youth, Yager's still playing hockey. Yes. I think that's, partly because he owns the team over there, right? And he has to play to sell tickets. I remember hearing that. Greg, Glenn Erickson's watching. We say, Merry Christmas, Glenn. A great comparison for Gretzky/Ovechkin might be Tiger chasing Jack Nicklaus Major's record. Many of us thought it was a foregone conclusion that Tiger would set the record. You're right. Things happen. The unexpectedness, it's one thing to kind of say, hey, look, we got to get through this completely clean in order to break it. There is a little room for error, but I know we're going to have to break here for hour one. But I wanted to run this by you. You talked about Gretzky. What's Gretzky going to say when asked if he's going to break the record? Be like, no, he's not going to break my record. They're the best. Well, here's what Gretzky did. Now, I don't know if he actually said this, but here's what he did. I'm looking at his hockey DB. He was a point-a-game player and obviously majorly overachieving a point a game throughout his NHL career until his very last season in the NHL. It was the only year he wasn't a point a game player. Gretzky's standards were so high that he said, I'm not a point a game guy, I'm out.
Right.
That's literally what happened. He had 92 points the year before. And then it was like a 60 or 65 point season in his final year. And his standard was so high that he said, I'm not a point a game guy, so I'm out. That's
he had 62,
Imagine
62 points in 70 games. Like nearly a point a game. I always thought he played that last year, not because of, the standard or anything. I no doubt that factored in, but 99, retiring in 1999, I always thought that was kind of part of it. And to play the massive, really 2 full decades, right? As he entered pro hockey in 1979, if I'm not mistaken, that famous Edmonton Oilers rookie card. But yeah, WHA and then to the NHL in 1979. I always thought it was like from 79 to 99, 99 retire the number, Madison Square Garden, all of those kind of perfect storylines for, the exceptional career in pro hockey.
Pretty special and pretty wild to think about if he had stretched it out another 5 or 6 years, how much further he could have added to these point totals. Wild stuff. Well, Darrin, appreciate this. We'll be back with more from Darrin Bauming in Winnipeg on the other side of the break. And Brendan Batchelor's coming up a little bit later on past 1:35 Eastern. He'll be joining us from Vancouver to talk about the Vancouver Canucks. We'll get more into all of this and more from you, the viewers. Text us 902-518-3033 and the YouTube comments. It's the Rod Pedersen Show. Very happy holidays watching on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and 24/7 Sports Radio at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar Buying Group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Comfort has always been something we as people strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
A Landmark Cinemas $30 gift card with $40 in great movie savings is the perfect gift to give, or give to yourself. Get yours today in theater or online at landmarkcinemas.com and make it a merry movie season. Landmark Cinemas, for movie lovers.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right. Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hey, check it out. We are in a couple of plaques here. That's me and my brother. Back-to-back years. Football awards. We're on. He's out playing basketball back there. I don't know if you'll see them sprinkling in and out. Otto and Amos and Megan and Brett, they're all hanging out. The family's home for the holidays, and we snuck into the high school to do the show today. So a lot of fun as we welcome in Darrin Bauming from Bonfire Sports. He writes for NHL.com from Winnipeg, and he's got the dog. All right.
She's like a.
How's that going to work out?
Reindeer. It's like a reindeer arrived. You know, right in time for Christmas.
I was just going to say, kind of looks like a tiny reindeer.
Yeah. Exactly like Santa's little helper from The Simpsons. No, this is a whippet. It's like a miniature greyhound. She is an absolute unit. Like, she can run and jump like no dog I've ever seen before. I'll put her down. Good girl. But dog sitting for Christmas, and just, yeah, like the sweetest girl. I love that dog.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. That's the holidays, man. You get a chance to check in with everybody, and we want to check in with you on the text line as well at 902-518-3033. Send us your holiday photos, and maybe we'll put Clark to work and see if we can get some of them on the screen if you guys send us in. So send us your Christmas photos. We know everybody's watching right now, whether you're on Game Plus TV across the country or throughout the United States. There's the number. 902-518-3033. Send us your Christmas photos to the text line, and we can get them on. Tim Capper wants to just add here on the text line that the RSEQ has shut down all sports to mid-January here in Quebec. Tim Cappers is in Montreal. So thanks for that, Tim. Yeah, it's a tough time right now in sports. We're not going to see any NHL hockey for the next few days. But, Darrin, do we know what the NHL has planned? We talked to Dave Poulin yesterday, and he said the biggest thing would just be some certainty as to what's at least going to happen between Christmas and New Year's and where the NHL goes from here. Any sense of what might be coming?
Well, I think certainty is the only thing that's truly lacking, right? It's a fluid situation. I think, with this Omicron variant, it's extremely, from what I've read, far from an expert, of course, but it's extremely contagious and transmissible, but it's not as dangerous to those who are infected and to those, vulnerable people. That's what COVID-19 has always been about, those vulnerable people and how badly it can affect them and overwhelm healthcare systems. Here in Manitoba, it's been pretty bad. We're, at capacity or very near capacity for ICU beds and the rest. But when it comes to the National Hockey League, they want to see what's happening. Like in major US markets, they didn't expect this wave to hit until January. And now it's hit in mid-December and into the holidays, right? And what happens in the holidays? More people congregate, more people travel and come together, eating and hugging and the rest. So I think they're unsure what this next couple weeks will be like. The NHL is scheduled to get back on the ice on Boxing Day, and then the games resume on the 27th. And, here in Winnipeg, they've already cut capacity down to 50%. They essentially said to all the season ticket holders, we're rescinding your tickets, and then we're going to give back half of them. So how they're handling that, obviously, their customer service lines are ringing off the hook, and some people are upset and some people understand. In the end, they still plan to play the games. And, the Olympics factors into this. What February might now entail is in making up those cross-border games that they postponed over the last week and potentially games that they will postpone in the coming weeks. So, the Olympics is done. That sucks.
But that's a good question. The Olympics, with that Olympic break, and maybe you'd know more about this, and this is just me, my mind wondering, okay? I haven't looked this up. But, fans often don't look at this as in terms of an employee and a business relationship, right? When we're looking at CBAs and salaries, they're getting paid to play games. And I even believe this goes into overtime and why we don't have continuous overtime. Taxing on the players. And if you want players to play sometimes 2 games a night, aka 3 overtimes, they want to get paid for overtime pay, right? And all of the rest. So the Olympic break, would that be negotiated in the CBA that the players have this break if they're not going to the Olympics? And if they want to reschedule games inside of a 2-week period that was scheduled as time off, does the PA have to agree to this? And does there have to be a little bit of negotiation?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Like, what are there, 550, 600 players in the National Hockey League? Like, it's a very small percentage that go to the Olympics, whether it's, Latvia or Denmark or the major nations in hockey. So it's a break for most, right? It's an opportunity for them to be like, okay, I can go to my kid's school play, or I can take the kids on a little trip, or I can spend some time at home with the baby or the wife or whatever it might be with their parents.
Planned already.
Exactly. It's planned. And well, that's the reality of hockey. Like, you might be playing for the Buffalo Sabres one week, and then you're on the Pittsburgh Penguins the next week, or the Vancouver Canucks, and you got to move across the continent. That's the reality. They get paid big bucks, and
plan
careers
and
are
God
short.
laughs, right?
Right. But when it comes to compensation, like, National Hockey League players aren't paid to play in the playoffs. They get their last check, and then the playoff starts. They want that glory. They want that recognition. They want that cachet to increase about being a Stanley Cup playoff performer, of being a champion, of winning the hardest trophy to win in professional sports. So there's that's what they play for. That's that motivating factor. When it comes to the Olympics, like, it's if you're from Latvia, you're Ante Kopitar, what are your chances of winning an Olympic gold medal or a silver or even a bronze? The opportunity to go is awesome, to be in the village and have that whole experience, to, be part of that opening ceremonies and come out with your nation's flag. That's amazing. But I think for the majority of players in the National Hockey League, you're bottom 6, you're bottom 9, you're probably not part of that conversation of Olympic consideration. So you look forward to that time off. And there are players that want to play, and there are players that nations want to play. We want you on our team. No, I'm gonna take this Olympics off. I owe it to my family, or I owe it to myself or my body. A chance to recover mid-season so you can be a little bit healthier come playoffs. I think there's a lot of value in that as well.
I absolutely agree. To the comments on YouTube, Wayne says to you from the opening part of the segment, put a red nose on the dog. And then Free Oleg says, knit the dog a sweater. Winnipeg's cold. Have you ever? Are you a clothing on dog kind of guy, or is that like a no-fly zone?
So here's the thing. My partner, Erin, and I, like she has this app on her phone, and she dog sits professionally. We take one dog at a time. It's kind of a nice thing. Little income for, our planned February vacation. We'll see, right? It goes for us in the media as well, and fans and season ticket holders, right? But yeah, clothing on a dog, I'm kind of mixed on it. When it's cold, for sure. If they need the boots, this is a whippet. It's a runner, right? It's got long, skinny toes, and you got to keep her warm. Her mom dropped her off yesterday, and we got a room full of her stuff. Seriously, she's got all types of outfits. Yeah. They dropped her off. She was in a whole Santa Claus outfit. She's got neck warmers. You remember the big long neck she has. She's geared up, big time geared up. That's awesome. If you're putting a sweater on your dog for a springtime stroll through the park, I don't know. That's not for me.
Arland Bruce III's watching. We say, hey, Arland, and Merry Christmas. We need to connect in the new year. We really do, and that's probably on me. Bro, he said, let me come work on my jumper while you're out on the air. He's like, I would kill it in that gym. Facts. Merry Christmas. So that's pretty good.
Arlen Bruce. Man, Darrin, when I was a fan of the Bombers and playing junior football myself, wearing number 3, I never won awards like you. Rookie of the year, but never athlete of the year, football athlete of the year. But I wore number 3, and stone's throw from my field was Winnipeg Stadium, where Arlen Bruce would play, and he had the 3 on his name bar, and I used to always love watching him. What an electric player he was.
Oh yeah, unbelievable. He also Jennifer wanted to know if we had played the jingle yet, the text jingle. We're going to play. Can we play that at the end of this segment in a few minutes? You want to do it right now? In 1 second. Okay, cue it up. We'll play the text. Have you heard the text jingle, Darrin?
I haven't. Nope.
Okay, so we got a jingle for the text line. We're going to play it next. Cindy Girl says that she has to run. Merry Christmas, Darrin, Rod, and all of the crew. Have a beautiful holiday weekend. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and thanks for checking in today. Okay, are we ready with the text jingle? Hit it.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Outstanding. Outstanding. I'm ready to donate my used car to kids.
How about that?
The UK accent, Rod Pedersen, and the little he at the end, it gets people. They love it. It's catchy. You'll be singing that in the shower. We'll play it about 500 more times between now and next year. But yeah, crazy. Geez, where do we want to go from here, caller? Look, we're going into the break, and we'll bring you back in here for overtime. Brendan Batchelor's coming up here in our next segment. We only got a couple minutes here before we got a break. Let's look outside of Winnipeg. Let's look outside of Vancouver a little bit. But let's look at Canada in the National Hockey League when we get set to resume play. Who are you most excited about in Canada's NHL teams? And Clark, I'll get you to cue up that graphic soon. But who are you most excited about in Canada here when it comes to the second half of the NHL season?
For me, it's Edmonton. If they can continue to grow the way they've grown, how often have Canadian hockey fans, Oilers fans, I know you have lots of viewers out there in Oilers Nation, where they've shown flashes and then they haven't been able to carry it through. I think it's time for Edmonton. They have 2 of the best, if not the best, forwards in the NHL. I know Zach Hyman's a little bit banged up right now, killing my fantasy roster, but they've seemed to round out their game. And I think they're a team, similar to the Winnipeg Jets. If you can figure it out and find that extra X factor, that one part of your game that is going to make you that much better. I honestly feel like in a very competitive Western Conference and a very competitive NHL, it's so often one thing. If you can do that one factor of your game better, it's going to make the entire team and your numbers increase that much more. I think Edmonton is beyond capable of that. That's what I'm most looking forward to. I think they can make a lot of noise, do a lot of damage in this second half.
Okay, guys, bring up the graphics. And just before we break, give us your thoughts on this. We can break this down a little bit later, and I'll get Brendan Batchelor's thoughts on this. This is from our betting partner, BetRegal.net. Odds on winning the Western Conference and appearing in the Stanley Cup final. They've got the Vegas Golden Knights, number 1, followed by Colorado, Minnesota, and Calgary, the number 1 Canadian team in the West. This is for Bet Regal. So, who's coming out of the West? In the way too early to predict Western Conference.
Yeah. Well, no kidding, right? Like what happened a couple years ago this time of year? The St. Louis Blues were in last place in the NHL, second last place. They go on with Craig Berube to win the Stanley Cup. So you never know. That's the beauty. I think if you're a bettor and you look at Calgary and Edmonton plus 900 each, even the Jets at 1,800, like why not throw a couple bucks on a flyer there? You never know what you may get. I think Colorado, if they can get some roster stability, I like them. I think Colorado is going to be a team in the conference finals. I'll say Edmonton and Colorado.
Okay.
In Pacific Division 1-2. Yeah.
And the East, guys, pull up the East, and we'll get you this, and then we got a break. In the East, Tampa, Toronto, Florida, and Carolina are the top 5. So the only Canadian team on that side of it, obviously, is the Toronto Maple Leafs. Who do you like in the East?
Well, you look at that number, Toronto, like you're going to get a lot of action out of Leafs Nation, right? That's probably a little bit low to entice a little bit or to offset how many people are probably going to be taking the Leafs, especially with the way they've been playing through the month of December. I really like Carolina plus 500. I think that team is very dangerous, and they finally figured out the defensive part of their game to go with a lot of that offensive firepower they have. I like Carolina to come out of the East.
Darrin, we'll see you in overtime. Appreciate this.
Always good to be with you, man.
All right, he'll be back for overtime. Brendan Batchelor from the Vancouver Canucks, the voice of the Canucks on Sportsnet 650, joins us next. It's the holiday edition of the Rod Pedersen Show, live from the Wynyard Campus at High School on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
This holiday season, wish your way at Capital Ford Lincoln. Unwrap a completely customized vehicle ordering experience. Reserve a pre-ordered unit that's already on its way. Or get into a pre-owned vehicle that's on the lot and ready to roll. And don't forget, we pay big for your used vehicle, even if you don't buy from us. Plus, our service department is your winter headquarters. Get special pricing on name brand tires, storage, maintenance, and more. And we always offer free vehicle pickup and delivery. This holiday season, wish your way at Capital Ford Lincoln.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop staffed by PGA of Canada professionals is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Comfort has always been something we as people strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of fun. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com. Coming up tomorrow on the Rod Pedersen Show, it's our World Junior Preview Show. Peter Labardius will be by. Julie Romenheimer from the New Jersey, New York area to preview Team USA. We'll have Alan Miller, the general manager of Hockey Canada, and a whole lot more. Rod will be back for the World Junior Preview Show tomorrow, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Same time as always, Game Plus and YouTube Live. And our final show before Christmas. Back all next week with best of the year shows. So we're going to go back and visit all the greatest moments from the past year on the Rod Pedersen Show next week. And then our live shows will resume on the Tuesday, January the 3rd. Well, let's go out to the West Coast and let's welcome in Brendan Batchelor, the play-by-play voice for the Vancouver Canucks. And we say Merry Christmas, Brendan, and Happy Holidays.
And to you and to all your viewers as well. How are you today?
Hey, we're doing great. We're back home too. I don't know if this is the high school in Wynyard, Saskatchewan, little community of under 2,000 people where I grew up.
Good stuff.
And the only place in town with good enough Wi-Fi to do the internet, to do the show. So it was kind of by default. But, amidst all the, uncertainty and everything that's happening in the NHL, what's up for in the Batchelor household for the holidays?
Yeah, well, we're going to get together with my parents. My wife and I had a baby daughter in March, so it's her first Christmas. So that's all very exciting for us. And we'll get together, have a nice dinner with my parents a couple of days from now. So it'll be good.
That's awesome. And, for Vancouver sports fans and Vancouver Canucks fans specifically, how would you describe the holidays right now and the mood they're in? Because, a month ago, this team was in a much different situation than they are today. And I would say that the Vancouver Canucks fans are probably feeling better than almost any other fan base in Canada right now, winning 6 in a row, 8 of 10, and everything looks to be pretty positive on the West Coast.
Yeah, it was almost a disappointment for many people that, games had to be postponed here, certainly with the way the team had been playing. They had a big game against the Maple Leafs coming up that was postponed last weekend. So with the way the team had been playing, you wanted to continue to see the good times rolling under Bruce Boudreau, now 6-0 since he took over as the head coach. And they've really looked like a completely different hockey team from the club we saw as you alluded to, even a month, maybe even a few weeks ago. And now the question is more around, the hole they dug themselves early in the season and whether it's too big of a hole to climb out of, or whether they'll be able to get themselves back into the playoff conversation. And I guess we'll have to see how they do once things pick up. Hopefully on the 27th, they're scheduled to host the Seattle Kraken.
In a word, can you sum up who Bruce Boudreau is in a word?
Positive. That's the biggest thing that he's brought to this group is he's come in and brought an air of positivity. I don't want to say that the mood around the team was hopelessness prior to the coaching change, but it didn't seem like there was a lot of belief there. In Vancouver, all the conversations were about this being a lost season. And Bruce Boudreau came in and he brought an air of positivity, and he got the players to believe that they could get back into this playoff picture, that they could show that they are a better team than what they were through the first quarter of the season. And he has got buy-in. And it's funny because, in today's day and age, we see all the analytical models and percentage chance of a team making the playoffs after they get off to a bad start. But when Boudreau arrived, he said, look, we're 9 points out of the playoffs. I just want us to try and win every week. And if we can gain 1 point in the standings every week, then in 9 weeks from now, we'll be back in a playoff spot. And it seems like when you boil it down that way, regaining control of your own fate and getting back into a conversation where you can contend for a playoff spot seems a lot more attainable than maybe it would if you look at probabilities and think about what your overall record has to be the rest of the season to climb back up in the standings. So he's gotten buy-in from sort of that short term, let's win this week, let's just worry about the games we've got coming up and not look long term. And the team has been playing for him, and they've played very well.
Well, clearly they have, and it's an exciting group to watch. And, as we move into the Christmas break, what would be on the Canucks holiday wish list in terms of what's missing from this group, or what player hasn't, still has something left that we haven't seen? What's on the holiday wish list for the Vancouver Canucks? Did we lose him? We lost him for a second. I don't know if he saw heard the question or not, but we will get back to Brendan Batchelor, who joins us, the play-by-play voice of the Vancouver Canucks on Sportsnet 650. You just let me know when we got him. We've got him? Okay. So I don't know if you heard the question, but it was the holiday wish list for the Vancouver Canucks. What's on their holiday wish list in terms of, what's missing from the roster, or a player who isn't looking like himself? What's on the wish list for the Canucks?
Well, if they're looking to improve in the short term, it's the right side of the blue line that is going to need a lot of help. They could also really use a right shot centerman. They have Brandon Sutter in the organization, who has been dealing with long haul COVID symptoms, hasn't played yet this year. He was their only right shot centerman. So, particularly early in the season on the penalty kill, they, couldn't win faceoffs a lot of the time. And as a result, giving up all sorts of goals and, had a historically bad penalty kill up until the time of the coaching change. So right shot centerman, if we're looking in the short term for this team trying to win games this year, a right shot defenseman that can play in the top four would also be welcome. And then if you're looking longer term with this organization, it's restocking the cupboards with prospects because they're pretty bare right now. Jim Benning, in the last couple of years, as his tenure sort of came to an end, had moved out a lot of draft picks to try and improve the roster, moving a first-round pick in the JT Miller trade, moving another first-round pick in the Ekman-Larsson, Connor Garland trade. So that'll be a big part of Jim Rutherford's task here as the new president, and then whoever he brings in to be the general manager will be restocking the prospect cupboards, reacquiring some draft picks if possible, and, trying to ensure that there's a pipeline of players that can help feed this NHL roster for years to come.
Any idea when we can expect an announcement on a general manager, or what the plan is for the Canucks and Jim Rutherford?
Yeah, when Rutherford came in as the president, he said he had a list of 40 candidates that he would consider for the GM that he needed to whittle down. And he's already started working on that. I know there have been rumors of Patrick Alvin being a front runner right now. He worked with Rutherford in Pittsburgh, so that's certainly a possibility. But I don't know if there's any certain timeline on that. I would imagine that in an ideal world, Rutherford would like to have someone in place ahead of the trade deadline so that they can come in and make the tweaks to the roster that they need to. But at the same time, Rutherford is an experienced NHL general manager who can do the job himself if he has to. So I would expect before the end of the season at the very least, but who knows? It'll all depend on who he wants to bring in.
Yeah, they're getting the right people in place, and Jim Rutherford is more than capable. Before I let you go, I got to ask you, because you can chalk me up in the list of people who had no clue that Rick Nash was called the Slim Reaper. Like, that's real life?
I know. Apparently, yeah. I was watching Jeopardy the other night, and they had that question, and I had never heard of it before. Apparently, there was a very brief period when he played for the New York Rangers where some of his teammates called him the Slim Reaper. It seems to be that it was more of a joke, actual nickname. So, I'll credit whoever works at Jeopardy doing the research. They dug deep for that one, because I certainly had never heard it. And then I tweeted it out, and most people that I spoke to had never heard it either.
That's completely off the board in terms of Nick. But, I mean, Rick Nash will go down as one of the greats. He was really good for Columbus. He played on Team Canada, a real star player in the NHL. And to have that big of a profile, and I know he played most of his career in Columbus, but even to New York, for that not to get out or become mainstream, I think is wild.
Yeah, I was shocked at the question because, as a hockey guy, whenever you watch Jeopardy and there's a hockey question that comes up, your ears perk up and you're like, oh, okay, great, this is awesome. I know I'm going to get this one. I might not know 95% of the answers to the other questions, and I had no clue on that one. So you learn something every day, I guess.
Unbelievable. Brendan, I appreciate this and taking the time over the holidays. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all the best here throughout the season.
Yep, thanks very much. Talk to you soon.
Brendan Batchelor is the voice of the Vancouver Canucks on Sportsnet 650 and has to be feeling pretty good about where that team is headed. We got one more segment to go here today from WCHS, and Darrin Bauming will be back for overtime and another Taco Time viewer takeover. So we'll spend it with you on the other side of the break. It's the Rod Pedersen Show here on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall. Or you might sprain your wrist, or even fracture it. A severe wrist fracture can take at least 2 months to heal properly. And it can cause you to develop arthritis that keeps you from doing something as simple as picking up your child without pain. Slips, trips, and falls can have a lifetime impact. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
This holiday season, wish your way at Capital GMC. Unwrap a completely customized vehicle ordering experience. Reserve a pre-ordered unit that's already on its way. Or get into a GM certified pre-owned vehicle that's on the lot and ready to roll. And don't forget, we pay big for your used vehicle, even if you don't buy from us. Plus, our service department is your winter headquarters. Get special pricing on name brand tires, storage, maintenance, and more. And we always offer free vehicle pickup and delivery. This holiday season, wish your way at Capital GMC.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of fun. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Hey, Matt, how's it going? We have something really special.
Holy, it's pretty impressive.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
This is the set today. The WCHS gym. Yeah, we're the Bears, and we're up top, giving you a wave, but you can't see behind the lights. Too bright. As we welcome you back into the studio here inside the Wynyard Composite. Yeah, everybody was playing basketball. They've all gone home for a lunch, a big lunch. Mom's cooking. Every day she's got something going on, so we'll be back there very soon, as soon as we're off the air. But let's bring Darrin Bauming in one more time. Bonfire Sports and NHL.com. It's been awesome spending some time with you, Darrin. And again, Merry Christmas to you and the family and everybody back home in Winnipeg. What's up for you now between now and the new year?
Yeah, appreciate that, Darrin. This was more fun as we had out for dinner when you were stranded in Winnipeg a few weeks ago. This was probably more fun than that. But yeah, Merry Christmas to you and to everybody out there as well. I hope everyone has a wonderful holidays and New Year. Bonfire Sports, we're going to continue to, grow our offerings. I got Scott Billick of the Winnipeg Sun, Winnipeg Jets beat reporter, travels with the team. He's going to join me for more kind of bite-size hot takes and discussion on the Winnipeg Jets. We're going to have CFL football coverage throughout the winter as well. There's a lot of excitement here in Winnipeg, obviously. 3 years defending 2 straight Grey Cup championships for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. But we like to talk about the entire CFL because if you're a fan of one team in this league, you're a fan in essence of all of them because, it's a one-of-a-kind brand of football. Stay away from 4 downs, please. I know you and I could do a whole show on that.
We absolutely could. And let me just the only thing I say on that is, any talk that we've ever had about an XFL CFL merger and needing to play 4 downs or anything like that, that's a merger. That's a completely different animal. That's a dead CFL, and now you're finding a home somewhere else. The CFL should not change to 4 downs on its own unless it was joining a North American league and changing the entire structure. The CFL needs to stay Canadian.
100% agree. It's our identity. It's our game, right? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, is it possible to grab that photo from Brian in the text line? 902-518-3033. Brian sent in a holiday photo. So if we can get that up before the end of the show, work real hard and try and do that. And then just let me know if we have it. Look, it is, what is it, week 16 in the National Football League, Thursday Night Football tonight. The San Francisco 49ers, 3-point favorites over the Tennessee Titans. I'll be watching that tonight, 7:30 Central Time, 8:30 Eastern. Titans are in a little bit of trouble, but they may have A.J. Brown back, which would be really, really big as the playoff picture starts to come into focus. Pro Bowl rosters were announced. Hands up if you had the Indianapolis Colts leading all teams with 7. Also hands up if you had the Denver Broncos being one of 7 teams without a Pro Bowler on the roster. And rookie Jamar Chase is a starter from the Cincinnati Bengals. Those were all highlights for me. If you remember at the beginning of the year, he was confused when he was having drops in the preseason because of the stripe on the football, and now he's a Pro Bowl starter. So unbelievable stuff. That's kind of what's been going on here today. Couple of bowl games happening.
Joe Burrow got robbed. Joe Burrow got absolutely robbed.
I know.
How he's not a Pro Bowler. Same with Matt Stafford. Yeah. Kyler Murray's in there with a putrid touchdown to interception ratio. He's been hurt this year. Matt Stafford deserves the nod, in my opinion, over him. But that's the fun of these things. You can always spark the debate with these Pro Bowl rosters. And my Colts, right there. I told you.
There they are.
Continuing
Jonathan
to surprise
Taylor leading the
so
way.
many ways. Yeah, beast.
As the running back, for the AFC. It's Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady back in the Pro Bowl as well, along with Kyler Murray and Justin Herbert on the other side. Nabbing one of those Pro Bowl spots. Okay, we got the photo. I know we're in the final minute here. Here's the photo from Brian. He's trucking during the holidays. So Merry Christmas, Brian. Thanks for sending in the photo. Thanks for watching here. Taco Time viewer takeover. And we say happy holidays to everybody who's watching us today. Tomorrow is our World Junior Preview Special. You going to be watching?
Absolutely. I don't think it's the holiday season without a little World Junior hockey.
Absolutely. Darrin, again, Merry Christmas. Thanks for joining us today. Really appreciate it. And thanks to all of you. World Junior Show tomorrow, final day. Rod will be back in here before the holidays, and then we'll see you next week with our best of the year shows. For everybody, Merry Christmas. Thanks for watching The Rod Pedersen Show, and we'll see you tomorrow.
You screwed up, Clark.
How about that? Oh, no. Hot take. Bob's your uncle. Approved. Bingo. Right on.